Many of my ideas come from staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night because I can't go back to sleep. I'm in my mid-50s now 56 years old. What can I tell you? I don't know where this one popped in my head. I just thought to myself, what we talked about on the show earlier in the day, I forget who it was, but we're like, if somebody doesn't play again, is that person a Hall of Famer already? Doesn't matter if they're played 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 11 years. Their body of work to this point in time, would they be in the Hall of Fame if by fate they're not allowed to play anymore or by choice decide not to play anymore? And you're saying in the first 3 cracks at it in 2 segments, we did it with Aaron Judge and Ohtani together to kick things off, first pitch it. And then yesterday we did our first player from the NFL and Josh Allen. You're saying it's lit up the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, comments are hot.
They're hot. And, I mean, there are a group of commenters who understand what we're doing here and are giving legitimate, like, yes or no. And then there are always the group who just want to get mad and be like, you guys are idiots because they're not really understanding what we're doing.
Okay.
But the people that are into it, yeah, they're into it.
Okay. I like that. And we have our first NBA player for a segment that we're referring to as Who Wants to Be a Hall of Famer?
Who wants to be a Hall of Famer?
Is that your final answer?
Thank you, Regis.
Production value.
We're clapping for our own production.
I love
value.
Regis. I'm clapping for Regis.
I don't think that was Regis.
No?
It might be, yeah, that would have been hard
No, that's not Regis.
to get Regis.
That's what I'm saying. Is that your final answer?
It's a Regis imitation. That's not Regis.
I think that's Regis.
I think
Play
it was
it
our
one more
last
time.
caller
I
doing
think
a
that's
Regis
Regis.
impression.
Not a chance. This is Regis Philbin. Not on
I'll play it.
planet
I
Earth.
can play it.
Go ahead.
Who wants to be a Hall of Famer?
Is that your final answer?
That's Regis.
No way.
Definitely Regis.
That's
I
100%
mean,
Regis.
literally just pull a clip from any old
I
episode.
don't think it is.
That is Regis.
Yeah. Not to get too deep in the weeds here.
Okay, we're good.
Let's move to our actual today's contestant for Who Wants to Be a Hall of Famer is none other than the Dallas Maverick of note, because he used to be a Los Angeles Laker. The throw-in in the Luka Doncic trade.
Wow. Wow. That's how they treated that man, though.
Hey,
That's how they treated
I
him.
mean, in the pocket listing, Anthony Davis, 32 years old. Let's give you his resume, everybody. Regular season averages. He's 9 for 17 on average in a game. The 9 field goals made per game is 20th all time. 20th all time. In terms of rebounds per game, 10.7 rebounds per game. That's 35th all time. 2.3 blocks per game. 14th all time, ahead of Shaq and Tim Duncan.
You know.
Yeah. He averages 24.1 points a game, which is 26th all time.
Nice.
Over 27,000 minutes. His field goals made 7,100. That's 74th all time. His 8,416 rebounds, 70th all time. He's 25th on the all-time blocks list of 1815. And he's just shy of 19,000 points in his career. 10-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team, 3-time All-NBA defensive first team. 3 times he's led the league in blocks. And we all know he won that one title. And he's only one of 2 players to average at least 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks throughout his career since they started counting blocks in 1973. The other player is named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he made the NBA's 75th anniversary team. I'll go first. He's a Hall of Famer. And I came into this segment thinking, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I really did. I when I thought to myself, is this guy, if he doesn't play another game, if he decides to, by the way, could you imagine making that call to Nico Harrison. Hey, Nico.
Hey, you know what? I think
Nico Harrison does not like this segment idea right now.
I think I'm done.
Could you imagine how that would play?
That is worst case
And at that point in time, Jason Kidd would call up the next day, ask for me again. Call up and ask for me again. But don't you think, right? This guy is a Hall of
Rich,
Famer.
I think without question, he is a Hall of Famer. No doubt. You mentioned 75th anniversary team. All of those guys are in or will be in.
There's not one that isn't, correct?
No, he doesn't
Because
have.
they're not.
He doesn't have any actual hardware in terms of MVPs or Defensive Player of the Year awards. He probably should have won at this point, TJ, a Defensive Player of the Year award. He is so underrated as a shot blocker, rim protector, rebounder, defensive player. Look, I don't really count their bubble championship, but he was awesome in the bubble for the Lakers, and probably the main reason that they ended up finishing that off over Miami. Without question, Anthony Davis, Hall of Famer.
You agree?
I mean, you just look at the stats. In addition to all the stats you guys said, 8th player to win an NCAA title, an NBA championship, and a gold medal. 6 of the previous 7 are in the Hall of Fame, and only he and Michael Jordan are on that list to actually have 2 Olympic gold medals. He's won a title at all 3 levels, including a FIBA World Cup championship. He was the #1 pick, 10-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Defense. And the thing about the NBA Hall of Fame is they take into consideration everything, not just your pro career, but your high school career, your international career. So based upon all that, he's absolutely going to go into the Hall of Fame. It's the basketball Hall of Fame, and they're a lot more lenient than the Major League Baseball or the NFL when it comes to their Hall of Fame.
29.6% three-point shooter as well at his size in his career, right? I mean, I think that's the first consensus we've had, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I kind of feel like we're probably going to get more consensus on NBA players than any other player in any other sport.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
So,
You're
yeah.
probably right about that. But the standards for that their Hall of Fame have are just a little bit lower compared to Cooperstown and Canton. So.
But I honestly, I thought to myself, is this guy really a Hall of Famer? I don't think so, but let me see the numbers, and the numbers support it.
It's funny you say
Without
that.
question.
Like your eye test maybe says no. In a weird way, do you think he's underachieved in his career?
Well, obviously the Pelicans is one thing. The Lakers, he did win a title, and I just need to say it because whenever you say it, I do offer the pushback. In the same way we always say, you can't come up with the schedule. Right? The schedule's made for you. You got to play who you play when you play them. And if this other player is injured, that other player is injured, and this opponent's less than, then you beat that player. They beat that team.
Yeah.
You can't sit and say, well, that team, that's
who's in front of you.
You have to play who's in front of you and beat who's in front of you, and you can basically say, well, who did this team really beat? Well, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, so you have to give them credit for that.
Or they beat the team that was supposed to beat all the
Lakers
other
didn't
teams.
create the pandemic.
Do we know that? No.
I know.
Wow.
The Lakers didn't create the pandemic. Everybody else had to play by the same standards.
Same rules.
It was beyond out of body, out of sight, out of mind. They did it. They did it. You could make the case it was the most difficult championship to win of all time. Away from their families, you have no idea what the hell's going on in the world. Don't forget, that's when the world was exploding outside of the bubble, too. There was even conversation about not playing games because of what was going on in the real world.
It was just a weird time on Earth.
That said,
That year they had the oldest roster, and their
I
top
get it.
players
I
were
hear
the
you.
older players, and
No,
they
I get it.
benefited from 3 to 4 months rest. That's all I'm saying.
regardless, is to say underperforming. No, I mean,
Has his career been underwhelming? I mean, you think that based on your eye test that he wasn't a Hall of Famer,
Right.
and then you looked at the numbers and all the metrics, and you're like, oh yeah, definitely he is.
right. Especially, I guess it's an eyebrow test.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
now.
look at you.
Thank you. So Anthony Davis, congratulations.
Well
you don't have
done.
to play anymore.
It was
Although
unanimous,
that would be insane if that happened for him in Dallas. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.